name is Monica. Monica Reynolds.
Monica? I've heard that name before. This is her? The girl Shira was obsessed with. Well, at least he has good taste. My name's Randy. Randy Barrett.
Randy outstretches his hand to Monica, who politely returns the gesture by shaking it.
Oh, nice to meet you, Randy.
Likewise. I'll see you in a bit, Monica.
Yeah, you too.
The two walk past each other as a custodian arrives to clean up the spill. As Randy walks away, he sighs to himself as he ruffles through his hair. He sighs to himself and as he ruffles through his hair.
Man, I'm really careless, aren't I? I can't believe I did that. At least she was cool with it and I can make it up to her. Honestly, I was expecting her to chew me out, but she was surprisingly calm. Or maybe she's just the type who can really mask her feelings. Why am I making a big deal over this? And why do I care so much? Normally I wouldn't have given a shit if I bumped into some dweeb from being in the way. Is it because she's a girl? Am I doing this on impulse? Or am I doing it because it's the right thing to do? Huh.
These questions swirl around in Randy's head as he makes his way to his first class. He's not used to thinking this. It's lunchtime at the school, and the cafeteria is already bustling with activity. The chatter amongst the students is fervent around the room as the many conversations mix into the relaxing music playing over the intercom. True to his word, Randy meets Monica by the entrance to the cafeteria and join the lunch line to grab food. He pays for Monica's food and buys something light for himself. The two are now waiting by the nearby counter for their order to be made. Monica tries to make some small talk with Randy. He's polite but curt in his answers to her.
She's just trying to kill time until we can get our food so she can leave,
Randy thought to himself.
I can't blame her for trying to make the situation a little less awkward, but there's no way she's not pissed at me deep down. I've seen girls like her pull this act all the time. Act nice and polite when a guy offers them something, and once they get it, ghost him. Granted, she'd be more than justified in doing that, but at least it seems like she's not making a big deal out of it. I mean, she did accept my offer to buy her a new lunch after all.
The two exit the line once they've received their order.
Well, there you go. Hope you're okay with the school's food.
Oh, it's not terrible. Honestly, I don't know why everyone complains about it.
So long as you think it'll do, then I'm happy. I'll let you go,
Randy says as he begins to walk off.
Hey, wait!
Randy, confused, looks behind him back at Monica.
If you wanted, you could join me for lunch for a bit. I'd hate for you to skip class even more than you already have, but I'd feel remiss if I at least didn't invite you to join me for a few extra minutes.
Randy stands in stunned silence as he mulls over Monica's offer.
Is she serious? Maybe I read her wrong. Sure, I can kill an extra few minutes. I'm in no rush to get back anyways.
Good to hear. Come on, I'll introduce you to my friends.
Randy nods as he follows Monica. Monica leads Randy to a table on the far side of the room.
Huh. Wouldn't have thought she'd eat lunch all the way over here. Thought she was one of those popular kids who have a million friends and they all sit in the middle of the room being the loudest people in the cafeteria. So far, this girl's done nothing but surprise me.
Hey, guys.
Monica says cheerfully as she sits down.
Hey, Monica. How's it going? Oh, it's going all right.
Randy nervously takes a seat next to Monica. Across from him are two other girls, neither of whom seem particularly familiar to him. Though the girl sitting to Monica's left makes eye contact with him for a split second and then nervously looks away. None of the others seem to have noticed that.
Oh, who's this?
Siri asks inquisitively.
Is he your boyfriend, Monica?
Monica nervously laughs off Siri's question as Randy looks away, scratching the back of
Boyfriend? Come on, Siri, where'd you get that idea? Well, this is the first time you brought a boy to our table, Monica. Plus, he's super cute and seems like he'd be a really great match for you.
Monica looks off in embarrassment as it's now Randy's turn to laugh.
Thanks. But no, I'm not her boyfriend. We actually just met today.
Oh. Yeah, he bumped into me this morning and I spilled my lunch for today. So he was kind enough to insist that he replace it, and I decided to invite him over.
The girl on Monica's left finally speaks up.
Well, that's very thoughtful of him. I'm Yuri Anderson.
Yuri says, sweetly smiling at him.
Randy Barrett.
Ah, I was wondering why you looked familiar.
Not 100% sure what that's supposed to mean. Though now that I put my finger on it, she does look familiar. And the name rings a bell. Whatever, it's not a big deal.
Oh, sorry, Nico!
Nice to meet you.
Well, it's great that you could join us today, Randy. I think you're going out of your way to fix your mistakes is a good thing.
Yeah, I was being careless, and I appreciate Monica being cool about it. Can't say I was expecting it, honestly.
I'm not the type of person to get hung up on those things so easily. Besides, I know you didn't mean it.
Yeah.
The three of them begin to dig into their food. After a few minutes of eating their food in silence, Siri decides to keep the conversation going.
So, Randy, how do you like food for fun?
Well, I'm on the football team for the school. I'm a front linebacker. Our season's going to start off soon, so I've been working on getting into shape for it.
That's impressive. What number are you?
84.
Wait, during our home game last year against the Scorpions, were you the one who recovered that fumble and managed to get past everyone on the other team?
Yeah, it was.
The girls stare at him in awe.
That was incredible! It was certainly quite the spectacle. I'm pretty sure that play alone was what got us into the championship.
Yeah, basically. Sucks we didn't get too far after that, but I think that was the best play I did that year. I'm not much of a runner myself, but being down 5 with 10 seconds to go really makes you motivated to do things you normally wouldn't expect yourself to do.
Isn't that the truth? Pressure is always a great motivator, whether it be sports or academics. No wonder I was such a perfect student.
I did peg you for an honors student.
Ah, so you have brains and brawn.
Monica says teasingly.
I'm not so much of a smart guy, but I get by. I wouldn't say I fit the whole dumb jock stereotype.
Well, a fit mind is just as important as a fit body. That's what my parents always told me anyway.
My folks say something similar.
Well, I'm glad to see we have some stuff in common. Yeah, you're pretty cool, Andy. Sucks that we don't share a class or anything.
Oh well, you guys can always find me on the field when the season starts. Just remember number 84.
We'll do our best.
Monica says, beaming brightly. Out of the corner of his eye, Randy spots someone approaching the table.
Guess we're going to have additional company.
Hey, Yuri. Adrian says as he hugs her from behind with one arm. Yuri is clearly caught by surprise by Adrian's sudden embrace, but quickly returns it. Adrian grabs the seat next to her as he looks across at the table.
Afternoon, Sayori, Monica, and...
Adrian locks eyes with Randy.
Randy. Adrian.
Randy nods respectfully. Adrian stares at Randy for a half minute before returning to Monica. Turning to Monica.
Monica, if you don't mind me saying, but you've been keeping some interesting guys around as of late.
Oh, you guys know each other.
Sayori says, chiming in.
You could say that. Though I can't say I would have liked to.
Adrian, what's wrong?
Yuri says, nudging his shoulder. He turns back around.
There's no way you don't recognize him.
Well, he did look familiar.
Adrian groans.
Come on, Randy is Kai's right-hand man. And one of the guys that was beating up Shiro.
The table falls into an uncomfortable silence. The girls nervously look on at Randy, waiting for him to respond. He lets out a shaky breath.
Yeah, it's true. I'm friends with Kai.
Well, truth be told, I already knew that.
Wait, what?
The whole school knows you two are friends. I've just never had the pleasure of meeting you myself, so I wanted to reserve judgment. Though I can't say I've heard too many good things, which is why I was a little surprised you were so willing to buy me lunch after our little run-in.
Oh, so that's why he's here. Trying to swoon Monica now, are ya?
Adrian says, leaning over the table.
Adrian, there's no need to be rude. He's been respectful to us so far. I don't see why we can't return the courtesy.
Aren't you the diplomat?
Adrian retorts.
Randy is Kai's right hand. If he's here, it spells out trouble for all of us. I guess that means I'm at the top of his shit list, aren't I? Hey man, I didn't even know you had this lunch, and I didn't come here for you.
You know I have this lunch. Don't you guys keep tabs on everyone?
It's not really like that.
Is that so?
Yeah.
There's no way Kai doesn't have it out for me. He's been pissed at me for years.
What does Kai have against you?
What doesn't he? I think I've told you all at some point that I grew up around that red-headed gremlin. You should probably already know this, of course,
he says, waving dismissively to Randy.
Just bits and pieces from Kai. Can't say he's ever really dived into your guys' backstory. I'm actually kind of hurt that he didn't, but I guess Shiro occupies more space in that guy's head than me.
Yuri rolls her eyes.
Well, I'll indulge you all in a little origin story. Back when I lived in the Southside Projects, Kai lived in the complex right across the street from me. I'd like to tell you, take walks around the block, and at the end of the street, we had a little basketball court. He and his brother Tommy would always be shooting hoops. So one day, with nothing better to do, I got bored and asked to join them, and they were kind enough to let me play with them. So after that day, I became their +1 in that group. This was probably for about a year or so before his brother shipped out to join the military. Can't blame him for wanting to leave that shithole of an area. But Tommy was kind of like our guardian figure. He kept us out of causing too much trouble when Kai and I decided to go off and do our own. He did a pretty good job of checking Kai's ego. Honestly, sometimes I wonder what he thinks of him now. At any rate, sometime during our middle school years, Kai and I met this guy in the neighborhood by the name of Steve Gorman. Coincidentally enough, he was a senior at this school when we met him. He was some social reject and a total loser, had no future. My guess is he got kicked out of his parents' house for constantly smoking dope and being a lazy slob. So I guess he took whatever money he had and moved here. His whole grand plan was to get in good with a gang in a nearby neighborhood. Figured that's how he was going to make an honest living. He caught us doing something we weren't supposed to be doing and offered us a job to help him rob this convenience store blind. So we helped him, and he offered up to help us get in with the gang once he got in. Of course, being like that, 10 years old, you don't know any better, so you think this is all super cool, and our parents didn't care what we were doing. My parents were more focused on making rent, and Kai's parents were always doped up on something. Down the line, we added 2 other neighborhood kids that we knew that we wanted the extra cash. This guy, Devin Jones, who liked to be called Big D, and this girl named Irene Clark. Devin was the muscle. Irene was our spy or distraction since she was super pretty. Though not as pretty as you, babe,
he says, patting Yuri's head.
Kai was our mission leader, and I was our scout/lookout. I was pretty good at sneaking around places and getting info before we decided to hit a place. Steve, true to the form, was the lazy fuck that did nothing other than come up with the idea of, hey, let's do this. Took all the credit if it worked, which he'd then tell his contract and his gang to get him good. Usually we just hit small convenience stores, broke into a few cars here and there, just messed with some people that Steve had issues with. Anyways, we probably ran this for about a good 6 months before things went off the rails. Around Christmas time, Steve had the bright idea of hitting this clothing store at the mall downtown. Supposedly it was going to be the hit that got him into the gang finally. I think he just wanted some new drip, personally. So we do our thing, we hit the place after it closes, we're able to get in through a window in the back. Of course, we didn't realize that the place had motion sensors which tripped an alarm, so we weren't in there for very long until things went south. So quite literally grabbing the first things we could find, we all tried to rush to make our escape from the way we came. However, the way we came from was about to be blocked off by one of those chain gates. I was the first one to get to the exit, so I had to hold the gate up while everyone ran through. Devin and Irene ran out. Devin, being the giant fat ass he was, accidentally knocked the jacket I was trying to hold onto out of my hands. The whole time, Kai was trying to grab whatever he could, but we kept yelling at him to forget it and run as the cops were about to pull up. It got to a point where Devin and Irene insisted on bailing, but I wasn't going to leave without him. So he finally comes carrying all this stuff, and at this point we can hear the sirens. I asked Kai to help me hold the gate so I can grab the jacket that I grabbed. It was super nice looking at, and it was honestly could have sold for a lot. Kai insisted there was no time and that we gotta leave. I came around and agreed, but once he gets through the gate and I finally drop it, my clothes get stuck on the gate somehow. I begged Kai to help me. Devin and Irene were about to drop what they were carrying to try to help me out. Kai then decided to bail and made Devin and Irene go along with him.
So I got arrested by the cops while they ran a couple blocks to where Steve picked them up. I didn't snitch, but I, of course, got into a lot of trouble. My parents whooped my ass once they realized that what I'd been up to behind their back. And honestly, it helped get my head on straight. They finally started giving a shit about me and doing their jobs as parents. They helped me realize that my actions had consequences and showed me where the life I was leading was going to land me, in jail or a body bag. They restricted my freedom a lot more than I would have liked, but in hindsight, they were right to do that. So yeah, that's how I know Guy. A stunned silence rolls over the table as they absorb Adrian's bombshell. Wow, someone thought.
I can't say I ever knew all that about Adrian.
Guessing it's him. Yeah,
Kai never mentioned that whole clothing store hit.
Randy thought to himself.
Well, that's quite the story. Kai always said you and him had a thing going on, and one day you flaked.
Adrian scoffs. Yeah, we had a thing going all right, but I never flaked. I was left behind. I did walk away from our little group, though. The next time I saw them, I visited Steve, and they were all there, probably talking over their next heist. I took one look at Kai and popped him in the face and then left. I never heard from Steve, Irene, or Devin ever again after that. Couldn't tell you what happened to them. I still saw Kai around in the neighborhood and at school, but he made sure to keep his distance from me. He tried apologizing to me once or twice, but I never gave him the time of day. Must have really pissed him off. Since then, he's acted like he's got a huge stick up his ass whenever he's around me. Still tries to act like a two-bit gangster when he's still a little bitch. But old habits seem to die hard with him, since he seems to recruit a new band of morons for him to boss around doing stuff. Adrian says as his eyes narrow on Randy.
Well, we're not robbing stores or breaking into cars.
No, but you're still harassing people you don't like. Trust me, Randy, I did the exact same thing you did, just in a different setting. Kai cut me loose once his ass was on the line. That's how he rolls. Ironic that I was the one who insisted on staying so he could get out. Out of here, baby, he left me behind. Wouldn't surprise me if he did that to our last group, too. I wonder how long it'll be until he cuts you loose. Randy stares down at the table. He's not the first person to mention that to me. So I'm guessing...
Hell, that's exactly what Sam was saying when I talked to her. Kai wouldn't portray me like that, not after everything we've accomplished. He's told me more than once that he trusts me and he's always looked at me as a friend. Though, has our relationship been more business than personal? And the way he's been acting lately does have me thinking. All I'll say is I don't always agree with what Kai says or does. As of late, I've been actually disagreeing with some of the things he's done. But I believe in the mission that we're trying to accomplish.
And what is that exactly?
Is that there's too many people in this school who are full of themselves and use their ego and sense of entitlement to boss around others. We're just trying to fight for equality around here, even if we do some regrettable things sometimes.
You don't seem like the kind of person that would willingly look the other way on what Kai has done in the start to the school. Everyone's so afraid of him. They always look away or stand aside anytime he passes through the halls. People always whisper about what a bad person he is and try to avoid him as much as possible. That can't be what you're working towards. You can't make us all be equal by fearing you guys. And from the sounds of it, you're not that kind of guy who wants to really do something like that. Even if you guys get it where we're all somehow equal, there's always someone who's going to try to be in charge, whether it's the student counselor or someone else. It honestly seems to me that Kai is trying to be the next guy on top, whether he realizes it or not.
That's honestly something I've started thinking about myself.